I'm 23. I studied art, was my major, intermedia was my focus, and social work was my minor. And I thought about like substance use and abuse. If I would have continued, I would have studied it. I would have intellectualized the shit out of it, just as long as I didn't have to feel it, you know? So that's what I studied. I graduated, and I was like school was another thing that I would just like push myself and like not take care of myself, and like criticize myself through it. So like I finished in like 3 years, you know, with honors, and it's kind of incredible considering how fucked up I was like on the weekends and like how stoned I was through like a bunch of the classes and stuff like that. Where I grew up, there were bars everywhere. Okay, where I grew up, there were bars, and what felt like the dominant culture was a culture that didn't drink or smoke. Call it like religion or call it whatever like the dominant culture was. And I wanted to be different. Like I wanted to evoke change because something felt powerless in me. And if I feel disempowered, then there must be something wrong with the establishment. Whatever it was. I didn't know what it was. I still feel that. I still think the systems should change. But anyway, I started going to shows. Like I started going to like hardcore shows and metal shows and like drinking out with people that were older than me when I was like 14. And I felt a sense of community there. Even when I wasn't drinking there, even if I wasn't engaging in substances, I felt a sense of community. There was like art there, and there was, you know, there was fellowship there. And that's what, like, I sort of find that here at AA now, like a sense of fellowship. So I don't think that like bars or like venues that serve alcohol and purvey the arts, like music, bands, are a bad thing. I think they can be a really good thing. But there's more. And if you're an alcoholic, you know, like maybe it's genetic, that's a lot of people think it is, like my parents were alcoholics, then it can become bad for you. Anything can, you know, if you're sick. You know, my family wasn't that, they weren't cool, they weren't nice, they weren't perfect. And so I would leave and go hang out with my friends and drink White Russians or Sky Blues or anything, and we would have a good time on the weekends, and I would get good grades when I went to school during the week, and I was MVP of my track team, and, you know, did what you have to do during the week, and then, yeah, just got fucked up on the weekends, and then one thing leads to another, and started smoking pot, and started doing coke when it was free, and started, like, doing hallucinogenic drugs when the moon was beautiful, you know, and then life goes on, and I get out of college, and, I guess the way I ended up here is I tried to stop drinking and doing drugs because I had a boyfriend that wanted me to. And it was fine. I had no problem stopping. I didn't think it was an addiction. But then the feelings that I was suppressing started to emerge, and I just went crazy. It was a different kind of drug, being angry, like being sad, like, and not knowing what to do with it. Like having to be stuck with it, and I didn't know how to do that. So that's how I ruined relationships and ruined myself in other ways. And so it wasn't until after a period of time without drugs that I realized that I used them. I didn't just do them, but I used them. So then I came here. Like when I quit drinking for periods of time, I tried to like quit doing drugs for periods of time, and it wasn't until, well, I don't know, I've been sober 2 weeks. And I think that I'm going to continue with it because I have now the support of this program, and since I'm doing really intensive therapy, and since I'm working really hard on nothing but living sober. And not just not doing drugs, and not just not drinking, but living sober. Thinking, okay, do you want to impulsively apply at this gas station because they're hiring right now and you need a job right now? Or do you want to stop and think about what career you want and what you might need to do to get there, and recognize that that takes time? And that's where I was talking about praying and breathing and being like, I don't need to control everything right now. And that for me is the work of like going through the steps, surrendering ego and power in favor of living life the way that you want to, that is sober. That's for me where the God and spirituality element of AA comes in. Just like living life as the person that I want to be. And if I can, and I mean, but let's like not kid ourselves. Like some days it's just like, just don't do drugs. It hurts so bad right now, and you are so self-pitying right now, and I don't know how to get out of it. Like, I don't know how to not hate myself right now, you know, and I have to feel that. Like, I have to feel like, God, you did some fucked up shit. Like, God, I wish I could take that back. Like, what were you thinking? I don't know how to intellectualize this. I don't know how to deal with this feeling because I haven't for so long. But, like, so sometimes the work is just not getting fucked up and just feeling it. And then sometimes the work is to, I don't know, I think there can maybe be, like, an emotional relapse, which I've done, like, a couple times since, like, like freaking out on people, you know. We should do this, we should do that, you should do this, I'm blaming you, blah, blah, blah. So relapse, I'm trying to not relapse in that way. The last time that I drank, like, I went on a trip to Omaha with some buddies that were, like, my friends, that are my friends since childhood, and we've gone through everything together. You know, elementary school, like Catholic elementary school, to junior high, puberty, awkwardness, to high school, first relationships, like, all through college, you know. And now we're all different. Some are in the military, this, that, and the other. And when I got to Omaha, I had so much going on in my mind. I was so looking forward to the fellowship of, like, these old friends, but all I wanted to do was get fucked up. Like, all I wanted to do was, like, and I was like, I'm broke. Like, buy me more drinks. Let me smoke your pot. Like, give me whatever free drug I can have right now because we're together, and that's what that means, that I'm excited and I'm away from real life and I just want to be out of myself. And then I'm, like, riding on the bus home. You know, we went to, like, every strip club in Omaha. And so, like, all of these images of, like, naked women's asses and thongs are in my mind, and I'm just thinking about whiskey, and it's just, like, I was just like, you're gross. You could have had this beautiful time with your friends, but what friendships do you have? You just got shit-faced at a bunch of strip clubs all weekend long, and you were looking forward to that. And now you gotta go home, and there's, like, rats living in your place, you know? And, so that was, like, one weekend. And that actually came weeks after, like, I felt suicidal. Like, I've been depressed for a long time and dealing with severe anxiety, and people around me were seeing it. They're like, why can't you focus? Like, why can't you need to concentrate on this. You know, we're giving you a great opportunity here, like, to farm and change the world the way you want to, work on, you know, do all this work that you find meaningful. Like, just concentrate and just focus. And I couldn't, and I didn't know what that was. And what it was anxiety and depression and not knowing how to deal with feelings and a conversation never stopping in my head. And the only way to stop that conversation is to get stoned, and then I'm stoned or I'm drunk. Like, I can't make my life the way I want it to be. And I'm powerless, and I'm worthless, and I'm ashamed, and all I want to do is drive my truck into a semi-truck. You know, like, all I want to do is end it, because that's the only way I can see to get out of it. Because if I'm drunk, then I'm a drunk, and if I'm sober, then I'm worthless and full of shame and all of this shit. And so I'm driving from this farm to where I live to another job, and I'm calling in sick to work to this second job because I'm just like, I can't do it. Like, I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown if I get there. For like a week prior to this day, like, all I could think about was running into the semi-truck, you know. Then some guy did it. Just went over the center line, hit a semi-truck, died. Like, 44-year-old father of 3. Like, project manager at Pearson, just, like, died in the spot that I had been consumed by this thought. And, you know, like, this is the spot, I drive it every day, I've been thinking about this very action, like, and there it happened, and I was like, what is that? You know? So then I checked myself into the hospital. I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, this thing happened, and I'm suicidal. I'm gonna kill myself. Like, I can't function. So I began, like, you know, recognizing that, like, this is gonna kill me. This, like, lack of coping skills, like, not feeling things, like, I'm gonna die. So I got, like, medical help, I got a therapist and stuff, and then eventually I came to AA and found that it's been really great. When did you know you were fucked up? It was like when I saw some guy hit a semi-truck and I wanted to be him. And then a few weeks later when I realized that even the medical establishment can't keep you from fucking yourself up. Like, you need, every day, you need help. Every day you can't do this alone, you need somebody. So I came to AA, so I don't have to do it alone every day.